lot of news regarding your goalkeepers this week in terms of international news, so probably best to start there. Let's start with Kira, because amazing news for her to obviously get the England call-up. She must have been delighted, and yeah, I'm sure you've had a conversation with her about that.
Yeah, really pleased. She deserves it. She's come in and done really well. We obviously completely aware of Kiara turning professional last season. Last season was her first season as a pro, so she learned a lot working with two other good goalkeepers, and yeah, I think she's grabbed a hold of the shirt and exuded real confidence in that for someone so young, and it's been rewarded with an international call-up, which is great for her, great for her family, great for everyone at the club, and everyone's super pleased for her.
Yeah, and what about Sandy as well? Obviously, she's made the decision to play for Scotland. Was that something that she discussed with you at any point?
Yeah, we had good discussions around it and the process of that, because it's not easy, obviously, being involved with England, and yeah, of course, we had conversations around it, and I said that she's certainly got the name to be Scottish, but yeah, we want to support the players in anything that they want to do, football related. So I think it's about her feeling of. I think it's an important one when you're an international player that you have pride in representing, and I think for Sandy personally, it'll be special for her and her father, particularly because that's where the heritage comes from, and I think it's a real positive. I think it doesn't happen too often, and the fact that the one surprising thing was that she'd never made a kind of appearance which qualified her as being an England international. I think that probably took a few people by surprise, even myself. So I think she had the opportunity to do it. She had good discussions with various people, and now it's a reality. So yeah, we're right behind her with that.
Yeah, I think people have only probably just started getting her surname right, actually, just as she decides to go and join Scotland. And just a word on Coombsy as well. Obviously, it must have been quite disappointing for her to miss out on the England squad. There's lots of competition in that position, but yeah, what was kind of her take on it, and have you had a chat with her about that?
Coombsy's fine. Yeah, I think it was a conversation that we'd had pre-camp. We have a good conversation with Serena as well. So I think when you think of Laura, she's probably not had much of a break, much of a breather in that sense. Has had to be. Was in the World Cup, obviously, the same as Esme, the same as some of the other players who were there who probably didn't get too much game time. Ellie Roebuck, the same. So I think it's really difficult when you're in that supporting role all of the time to continually do it. And I think sometimes in the international break, there's certain players that we have who that's their opportunity to get kind of a bit of a rest and recover, and certainly from the mental side of it as well. So I think hopefully this will help Laura. I think she's still an important member of that England squad. I think she's rightly deserved to be included in it over the last season for her performances, and I don't see that changing in the future. So I think there's always going to be some movement in that sense.
Yeah, and just looking ahead to the weekend, top of the table clash, which a lot of people are saying. Is that perhaps maybe surprised you a little bit, just how well Leicester have started? I think a lot of people expected them to be much improved this season, but yeah, they've started off really, really well, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, if I'm honest, because I think that I saw signs of this team performing in the way they're performing under Willie at the back end of last season. Certainly saw a change. We played them quite early here. We played them in the Cup. We also played them away at the King Power quite early in the season, I think. And then obviously Willie took over, and yeah, he's really put energy into the team, put quality into it, and they're a force to be reckoned with at the moment. So it's certainly a game that we're looking forward to in that sense. We're really pleased to be top of the league. We're enjoying that moment, but we don't see it as a short-term thing. We want to be there. We know how tough it is to remain at the top, but we're just taking it game by game and looking forward to the game at King Power on Saturday, and going into the international break still in that same position.
Well, all the best. Thanks, Gareth.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thanks, and we'll go to Joe Curry from BBC Sport as well, please.
Hey Gareth, good to see you.
Hi,
in the past, we've seen Manchester City have very busy transfer windows. I'm just wondering the fact that this summer you only brought in the one player. It's a far more settled squad. How much has that helped with this brilliant start to this season?
Well, yeah, I think it has. I think it's always I won't use the term risk, but I think it's always a situation where what is the best thing? Is it to bring in an influx of many players like we did last summer, which we knew that not all of them are going to adapt very quickly to the WSL, particularly when there was very little experience for some of them. So I've always looked at trying to have a settled squad as much as we possibly can, and that's tough. You know, it's really tough to make sure that players are secured on longer contracts, particularly ones you want to, and then also looking at what you feel might be able to help us. And we certainly felt that was the case with Jill, and I think her early form has shown that that's the player that we brought to the club. That's the reasons why we bought her, and but I certainly think it's most people might have looked at it as maybe a weakness that we haven't done much business, but actually I saw it as a strength, and we see it as a strength, that continuity with players that we trust and that we work with. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for a coach these days, is having time to work with players. So it's so difficult with the international breaks and obviously the major tournaments in the summer, but for us to be able to continue with the same team, same players, that I think has certainly shown signs, particularly of our performances in the first 4 games, of a real strength of ours. So I was really pleased with the way the players have started the games, particularly the way we've dominated possession. I think has been great, and the team's changed a little bit here and there, but we've got real good options now, and probably more options than we've maybe had in the past, which is always going to help.
And just on Jill, I think most people were very aware of her qualities when you signed her, but are even you surprised that she's managed to have such a big impact on the team and so quickly? Yeah,
and I think probably more than I expected, if I'm honest. I think that she's a player more than capable of scoring goals. She always seems to have this sense of arriving in the right moment, but more than anything, I think she's just a player who is really eager to learn and eager to improve. And we brought her here knowing that she's one of the best in that position in the world, and we want to make her the best. And there's a long way to go within that, but her willingness to learn and a willingness to adapt and a willingness to join a new team, I think I have to give great credit to the players in the environment that we create here, with allowing her to be herself. I think that's really important. And I think that's really like what we were talking about before, of having a settled group. I think that really allows one player to come in and be supported in every way. So I've been really impressed with her.
She's obviously helped fill the hole whilst Bunny's been getting to 100%. Will the fact that there's now another player who's offering as many goals as Bunny was last season going to take the pressure off Bunny slightly, or maybe will it also encourage her because she's got that little bit of competition in the squad?
Yeah, maybe, but I think there's other competition as well. You know that Lauren, Chloe, Jessie are capable. Mary Fowler, I think, is going to run them close this season. You know, the amount of chances that she will get into, the amount of chances she creates, played in some fantastic balls at the weekend, along with others. So yeah, I think it's exciting, and we need that. We need variety in the front line, players that bring different things. So I think Bunny is always, such a focal point for us, in that she brings goals, but also she creates so much within the team in terms of how we want to build. She's probably, her hold-up play has improved so much since her first season with us. We've worked hard on that, and I think she's, now currently playing at such a high level, is that she goes into each game really confident and really looking to score and be a real handful for oppositions, which she always is.
Thanks, Gareth. Best of luck.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. We'll go to Phil from PA next, please.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'll just do the standard team news check if possible. And I was wondering particularly how Lauren Hemp is. She didn't make the squad last weekend, but then Serena called her up. So I'd assume she's sort of on very much.
She's fine. She's fine. She's trained this week, so she's available. She's available for the weekend. The only player who's not available is still Demi, but we've had her on pitch with us this week and hoping for full integration after the international break. It's come at a bit of an unfortunate time for Demi, but I think it gives her a little bit more time to build up and do some work with us. But yeah, I think outside of Demi, everybody is fit and available.
Great, cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. And then we'll go to Sandra from The Sun next, please.
Hi, Gareth.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask, just in terms of just going back to the call-ups for Kiara, but then also for Jess, just how important it is in terms of them being role models for your academy players as well, just for those players to see that journey that, well, Kiara's certainly been on, still a teenager and now starting for City, but then also just in terms of the progress they're making and into that international team, as well as playing for City's first 11.
Yeah, of course. The likes of Jess, likes of Esme, Kiara coming through. We try and integrate the young players who we feel have an opportunity to do good things for us as a club. We give them as much opportunity as we can. It's really difficult with the rules and regs around trying to create a games programme for them. So what we tend to do is most of those players or 3 or 4 players, the likes of Annie Hutchins, the likes of Ginny Lackey, Lois, Jemima, Gracie Pryor, Emma Siddle. They're training with us on a regular basis during the week, maybe 1 or 2 days, and then go and play for their respective clubs in the lower divisions, which is great for them. I think it keeps a good balance of both, rather than keeping them here with us, not getting the necessary game time. And of course, those examples, the likes of the players we mentioned who've broken through over the years, I think is really always going to be a strong selling point for them to really knuckle down and do well and give it their very best. And that's changed a lot. I think even in the 3 years that I've been here, the difference now between being able to call on those players as per my first season when we were still in COVID was so difficult. I think the levels have improved a lot within the academy, and that's allowed us to be able to bring in these players more often.
And just obviously going back to some of what you were saying to Joe about, Jill and Bunny just immediately hitting the money as soon as G's returned. But you've also, I guess, got Leia Alexandria adding to that goal tally. Just how important is it at this stage to have the goals shared around for City, particularly with the league looking a lot more competitive than it was last season?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was nice for Leia to get that feeling. I think, Leia's such a good person to work with. She's very professional. She gives you everything. She's so intelligent, and she's been a really important player for us. And I think, last season we lost her at an important moment, and we felt that the levels within how we did things dropped slightly because of that. I think she's got a good relationship with the players in the back line, also with Yui. I think she's incredibly professional and a great player to work with, and is one of our silent captains, if you like. She's got such leadership for a young player. I think the way she handles herself and the way she gives every single thing for the team, I think she epitomises what we're about.
That's great. Thanks and good luck this weekend. Thanks, Gareth.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Sandra.
Thanks, Sandra. Any more questions, guys? Tom, yeah? Tom?
Yeah, hi Gareth.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask you just for your thoughts for the whole of the WSL, that we've only got one representative in tomorrow's Women's Champions League draw. I know that you felt unfortunate in recent years in how frequently you had to face Real Madrid, and with Arsenal and Man United out. I guess I'm just wondering your take on the events of the qualifiers and how tough it is for the WSL to only have one team left.
Yeah, I think it's like I've been saying it. You've heard it from me before. Probably people weren't listening then, and now it repeats itself this season. I think it's so difficult. It's a shame because you lose teams of good standing who probably should be in the group stage. I probably think it makes it easier for the ones who are already there, the likes of Bayern, the likes of Lyon, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Barcelona. It becomes a much easier qualifying process for them when they're playing teams that are a lesser level. There's no doubt about that. But I've been saying it for a while. I think it's tough. It is really tough. You work so hard all season to guarantee a European spot, and then it's within a game or 2 games, you're done. And I don't think just with us in the WSL. I think it's all around. There's other teams that have fallen foul. I watched the Paris game against Wolfsburg last night. Wolfsburg are in the final last season, and now, for one reason or another, they've been eliminated as well. So I think it's, I don't know, it's obviously an inclusion thing where everybody has the opportunity. But I think what it does is we do tend to lose probably the better teams at an earlier stage than probably needs be.
And just to bring it back to your match this weekend, does it kind of add extra fuel to try and win the league so you're not in that process?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You don't want to go through that process. You know, if we have to, we have to, but we want to win the league. You know, we want to win the league because we want to be there, not messing about with qualifiers, going straight into the group stage because it's been forced upon us. It's not like the men's Premier League where the top 4 go through into the group stages. You just don't have that. I think it's first thing, it's tough to get in the qualification process. Then the qualification process, we've seen so many teams end up drawing each other. You know, the fact that we drew Real Madrid in a round 3 game, we drew Real Madrid again the following season in a round 2 game. It's incredible. But yeah, that's our objective, is win the league and take away all of that uncertainty.
Thanks, Gareth. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Any more questions, guys? All good? We'll leave it there. Thank
Cheers,
you, everyone.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.